Welcome everyone to Defender for Cloud in the Field. If you are new to this show, make sure to use the link below to subscribe to our playlist at Microsoft Security channel. We have lots of episodes about, of course, Defender for Cloud. And if you are returning to watch the show, thank you very much for your audience. We are recording this episode today during the week of Black Hat, which means that we do have some new announcements at Black Hat. So thanks for catching up. And to talk about those announcements today, we have someone that's been on the show before, and it's always a pleasure to have him back, my friend Amit Biton. Amit, thank you very much for being on.
Thank you, Yuri, for having me. This is, I think, my third time here.
Third time is a charm.
Yeah. What can I say? It feels like home.
Absolutely, my friend. It's always great to have you here because every time that you're here, we know there is great news coming, right? Well, this week, as I said, we have some announcements and many new capabilities for multi-cloud. So can you please give an overview about what's news?
Yeah, sure. So indeed, we have several announcements that were made recently. Let's discuss those briefly. Defender CSPM for GCP that is just announced to be publicly available is comprised of several main elements. The first one is the cloud security graph. This is a graph that comprised of all your organization's resources, the relations between them, and unique properties and characteristics to build a connected graph of the entire organization. The power of the graph lies in the words, and I'm quoting John Lambert, who leads the research and intelligence teams for Microsoft Security, and he says, defenders think in lists, attackers think in graphs. In Defender CSPM, we think in graphs, and the cloud security graph serves as a foundation of Defender CSPM. Another key capability under the umbrella of Defender CSPM is the Agentless disk scanning for servers to identify vulnerabilities presence, installed software, and also keys and secrets residing in machines. Another crucial part is our data-aware security posture. This is another exciting and differentiating capability. With it, organization can understand their posture from the perspective of the data, and they can automatically discover resources containing sensitive data, evaluate data sensitivity, data exposure, and how data flows across the organization, and also detect suspicious activities that might indicate ongoing threats to a resource with sensitive data. So data-aware security posture provide valuable data context, allowing teams to prioritize the most critical security risks and effectively minimize the chances of severe data breaches. And it actually bolster the CSPM, the contextual CSPM solution and Defender CSPM plan. Attack path analysis is another key element that helps to focus on the most important threat and most immediate attack vectors that threat actor can exploit and take advantage of your environment. One more key experience is the Cloud Security Explorer, where you can explore and hunt threats by using a simple query builder in a do-it-yourself way. Another recent delivery is MCSB for GCP, which stands for a Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, which is a multi-cloud security and compliance framework that aims to provide clear and concrete guidance on how to securely configure cloud resources to meet both security and compliance risk requirements.
Awesome. And so with that, just to be clear, now we have Defender CSPM coverage in Azure, AWS, and GCP, correct?
Correct. Yeah. We are covering three hyperscalers. Yeah. major one.
That's really good. That really shows our commitment with our CNAPP strategy. And talking about that, how does those investment in multi-cloud fits into our overall CNAPP strategy?
This is a great question. So I want to say that and actually emphasize the point that we design and shape our product to secure hybrid and multi-cloud environments by definition and by nature. And everything, I mean, everything we do today in Defender for Cloud is tightly related to our CNAPP strategy and direction. Microsoft Defender for Cloud provides with the most comprehensive CNAPP solution. And there are several crucial parts that build our CNAPP solution, and I'd like to elaborate a little bit on those. So I'd like to start from the left side of the map. We know it as a shifting left process, meaning taking security norms and activities to the development phase. Organization wants to make sure that they have visibility into the security state of their development artifacts, their code, their build pipelines, to ensure they are secured from the very start. They'd also like to correlate threats in running application to their code. To others that, we have Defender for DevOps, supporting multi-cloud and multi-pipeline environments. So this was the shift, the left side of the map. So next, we move to security posture management, where security teams wants to make sure that they have full visibility of their hybrid and multi-cloud estate, that they understand how good they do in adhering to security policies, and finally, ensure that they grasp the understanding of what are the most critical risks in their environment and how to address those. The next phase, where security admins put their attention into, is the cloud workload protection domain. It's their mandate, the security team's mandate, to continuously monitor and react upon threats and attacks in runtime, mitigate these threats, and further investigate these threats holistically. Another crucial aspect to focus on when delivering an holistic CNAPP solution is cloud infrastructure entitlement management. You want to make sure you understand the access risk and manage all entitlements across hybrid and multi-cloud environments. Having said that, moreover, let's say, to all these pieces, we add much more data and insights by harnessing various Microsoft products to provide a complete solution. Products like external attack surface management, Sentinel, Purview, 365 Defender, and more. Leveraging the Microsoft security ecosystem is part of what makes our CNAPP solution so powerful. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Connecting the dots, ensuring that those products are work in synergy, bringing all those signals together is definitely one of our strongest points for CNAPP, without a doubt. And it's good to see that this is expanding across Azure, on-prem, and multi-cloud. In other words, all those things are coming together to give you awareness and protection regardless where your workload is.
Exactly.
Now, another important, very important actually, capability that we have invested a lot over the past 6 months or so is the Agentless capability. So can you explain what Agentless options we have available and why do we need to use those?
Yeah, sure. So it's not a secret that we put a lot of effort and resources in developing agentless scanning capabilities to allow organizations to have a wide coverage, visibility, and also to remove footprint and performance impact from the workload. Examples for that that exist in MDC today, in Defender for Cloud today, are agentless disk scanning for servers, where our customers can gain instantaneous and at-scale visibility on server workloads and with no performance impact on machines, providing vulnerability assessment, key and secret scanning, and also software inventory. Another agentless scanning mechanism is the container agentless scanning that provides out-of-the-box discovery and visibility and vulnerability assessments for registry and runtime. Combine these capabilities of containers posture management with attack path analysis, and you enable security teams to prioritize the vulnerabilities that pose the greatest risk to the organization. The third one, the third mechanism that is actually an agentless scanning one, is sensitive data discovery scanning, which is an agentless engine that uses a smart sampling method to find resources with sensitive data. The service is integrated also with Microsoft Purview's sensitive information types and classifications labels. This ensures that the detection and protection of sensitive data aligns with your established policies and already existing procedures. And I want to say another thing. With all that being said, and all the advantages of using agentless capabilities, agent protection has its own advantages when it comes especially to internal OS and mission critical tasks. For example, we make use of agents in our cloud workload protection platform to allow real-time threat detection and response. And as long as it fits your organization, combining between agent and agentless approaches is the ultimate protection solution for your workload.
Yeah, and I also want to emphasize that it's very important, as you mentioned, to enable those agentless, to keep it enabled, right? Because the insights from the agentless, they will feed the attack path, and you're gonna have more richness information as you start to navigate through the attack path and the Cloud Security Explorer. So it's very important that you enable these agentless capabilities, right? And of course, there are scenarios where agentless and agent-based will be the perfect combination to enhance the protection.
Exactly.
Very good, Amit. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Thank you. And also about agentless, if I didn't mention it before, so one of the major advantages of agentless is the organizational instantaneous coverage, right? No footprint, no deployment need. Like this is a major advantage, and we're on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so let's go to the demos.
Exactly. Without any more explanations and words, let's jump to the demo. So I get into a Microsoft Defender for Cloud. And let's just let's go to environment settings. I start from here. I want to show like the whole journey of connecting environment, whether it's Azure or multi-cloud environment, starting from that and showing like the journey and the experience of getting visibility of the resources in it, getting assessments and security policy checks, and more advanced scenarios. So I'm getting to environment settings, and I can see that I have here all environments, whether are Azure, AWS, or GCPs, environment that are connected to Defender for Cloud, in my case, that I want to monitor and keep track of. So I can add new environment by choosing here, add environment, and select the desired environment that I'd like to onboard. And once I onboarded a new environment, I can see all the assets, all the estate of that environment to gain visibility of that in the inventory, which serves as a single point and a single pane of glass for all the workloads in my environment. I can see that I have here Azure, AWS, and GCP's resources. So I can keep track of all of those. As a security admin and as a security team, it's hugely important to have this kind of visibility of cross-organizational visibility. I will select in this example, the GCP project on which I'd like to enable Defender CSPM, the contextual CSPM solution. And for that, I will check that I have the plan enabled, and I need to validate also that I already enabled the agentless scanning and the sensitive data discovery. Once I do that, I start collecting data in an agentless manner and ingesting it to the security graph, which is the engine of this Defender CSPM. So I save it and I go to start seeing the security findings that we are generating. So let's go back to the main view, and I'd like to go to the attack path analysis. And as I said before, just to emphasize it, the attack path analysis is a list of predefined attack vectors that was defined and created by Microsoft research team to show you with the most immediate attack vectors that an attacker can exploit to move laterally inside the organization to take advantage of your environment and impose the damage. So let's just select a specific attack path to focus on and to see how it goes inside. Getting into this page, the attack path page, I'd like to focus on this one. This specific attack path is about to show us, like to provide us information about VMs, virtual machines that are exposed to the internet and have high severity vulnerabilities on them, so an attacker can remotely access and get possession on those machines. And we also can see that these machines have service accounts. They have identities that allows them to get access and to read information from a data store with sensitive data. Okay, so in the attack path page, we can see on the left side that we have more general information on the attack path, like what is the potential impact that we have here, what are the involving resource types, the category of the attack path, and also the remediation steps that we should take in order to mitigate and block this attack path. And here we see all the attack path that we identified. And for each attack path, we can see the exact attack vector and the path, okay, the trajectory where the attacker can move laterally inside your organization. So I can also select resources to get more information on why they are part of this attack path, what is wrong with them, what should be reconfigured or properly configured, and why do we see them in this chain. So let's select the server, the VM that I see that is exposed to the internet. Okay, I can also see the internet exposure. I can see that I also have insights coming on from Defender for external attack surface management. Okay, this is an enrichment of the data that give me a proof that not only that Defender for Cloud inner mechanism identified an exposure to the internet, but also Defender for EESM, which is external attack surface management, found it as exposed to the internet. So this exposure leads to the VM, and clicking on this VM is opening this page, this side pane, that providing me information on this resource and also insights of the vulnerabilities that reside in this machine, and also the exposure, the network exposure that was identified in these machines. Moving on in this attack vector, I can see the service account identity that resides in this machine, and also grants permission to this machine on a storage bucket. And selecting the storage bucket, I can see a very interesting information. I can see that this storage bucket is actually containing sensitive data, and I can see the file samples that were identified. So I can see here in this very example that there are two files found on this storage bucket, and these are about international banking account number information that resides in this storage bucket, meaning an attacker that exploit the vulnerabilities in the machine, gain access, can get to this storage bucket to get like compromising of your crown jewels. So here we saw like the complete attack path, the complete attack vector, and now you ask yourself, what should I do? What should I do? Okay, I have this attack path. What's next? So the answer is, let's select, for example, this machine. I can see that I also, for this machine, have recommendations that actually guiding me towards the solution of the attack path. So if I get into this recommendation, one of these two, and mitigate and remediate this resource, so I will block and mitigate the attack path. So the next step for me as a security admin will be to go and remediate these recommendations. But in a lot of the cases, as a security admin, I can't just change resources, make changes to configuration. So I need to find the correct owner, the application owner, the resource owner to reach out to, and I can also do it from here. Getting into the recommendation, I can see that I can take action, I can remediate it myself, I can trigger an automation to remediate this resource, or I can assign owner from my organization that will be responsible for remediating this recommendation and mitigate the attack path as a whole. So this is like the whole process from monitoring an attack path, identifying the threat, and assigning it to an owner or remediating it myself to mitigate it. Here we are seeing the Cloud Security Explorer, which is kind of a complementary solution to build it your own, okay, to query the information your own, create your own discovery and hunting process in a do-it-yourself manner. So you can do it here in one of two options. So the first option is creating your own query, and in a minute we will see how. And the second option is using one of the templates that we are providing here for you to start with a prevalent queries, a prevalent use cases for you to identify, explore, and hunt for threats. So let's just think of a scenario. So let's say that in my organization, I would like to see which are the storage accounts, storage buckets, okay, that are allowing public access, okay, and also contain sensitive data. Okay, so let's start from it. So I would like to have like all storage buckets that contain sensitive data and also allow public access to it. And another piece of information that I'm interested in, what is the environment of this object storage? I mean, what if the sensitive data resides in a production environment or dev environment? So I want to make sure, let's say that in my organization, there is a policy that there is no sensitive data residing in a development environment. So I'd like to add it to the query as well. I want to look for, I know that I'm using specific tags to represent the relation to an environment. The key of the tag will be environment, and the value will be dev. Searching this one will help me to discover that I have one storage account that is containing sensitive data, allow public access, and it's also part of the dev environment. This one, I'd like to take a closer look on it to see more information on this one. And I can see that I have a lot of a file containing sensitive data from different reasons and from different types.
Amit, that was great. Thank you very much. There's so many capabilities to combine into a single show. We could talk about this for more than an hour. Thank you very much, Amit, again for joining, and see you again next time.